Now, I've been in New York, and I've seen a lot of things in New York. I've never seen people just in the middle of the street face down in the hot sun. And they say, yeah, man, that's what they do here. So I started reading up on the history of LA police. William Parker, who designed the post-war LA Police Department, hired ex-military and Southerners.
We're talking about a Southern mentality in Parker. He wants racism and authoritarianism to be wed together.
A great number of those people came from areas in the country where they were much further dislocated, much more seriously dislocated than they are here. They came in and flooded a community that wasn't prepared to meet them, despite the fact that we got all this relief money going in there. We didn't ask these people to come here.
From the 1950s to the 1960s, Parker is redefining the mission of policing. Policing isn't just about solving crimes. Now it's about solving the social problem of black folk. Parker said explicitly, by 1970, half the city can be black, and if you don't have a militaristic police force, one full of warrior cops with an occupational force mentality, then God help you. The only thing standing between you and chaos is this thin blue line. Clearly fear-mongering and playing on racialized fear in particular.
Let's turn the inner city around. And I hear the same thing developing now. We want a stake in our community. We want to make the decision. Well, of course you do. And I'm all for that. They talk in the street vernacular. We think that's wonderful. But let's do something about 40 to 50% of our kids who drop out to do what? To get involved in drugs and crime. Let's do something about that.
Parker viewed Gates as a mentee and Parker as a mentor. And Daryl Gates continued the tradition of saying outrageous things as chief of police. For example, that blacks were dying from police officer chokeholds because they had some anatomical quirk. So he carried on that Parker tradition, and he was allowed to because he was supported by much of Los Angeles, right? We're not talking about an institution that's out there acting on its own. We're talking about an institution that's acting in response to the democratic process that has said, we want you to be this kind of institution. We want you as our violence workers to unleash your violence disproportionately on these communities. And we're going to keep putting people like you in those positions. So these officers are very much just playing a kind of representative role.
All right, let's hit it.
In order to fight this wrong of crack in South Central Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Police Department decided, let's step up our enforcement and show people that we're serious. So when you have that type of environment, it's going to lead to disastrous results.
It is a war, cops against gangs. As in a war, the casualties mount every week.
I submit to you that Daryl Gates is causing the kind of polarization that is dangerous. That Daryl Gates, on top of the other difficulties that our community is experiencing, is exacerbating that problem.
Clearly, it didn't eradicate drugs, and that's why there was this built-up frustration and this built-up rage that bled from the streets to the music.